I just feel like I want to watch the whole world burn.
I know. I know that feeling.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Redemption, and this 2025 film was directed by Michael Crum, stars Donny, Boaz, Richard Blake, and Major Dodge, among others, of course. And so, what is the story of Redemption? Well, with this movie, it's about this man, and he is, divorced from his wife, but his ex-wife's boyfriend does some crimes to their daughter. And so he's, understandably upset about that. It just kind of, takes over his personality and he becomes angrier and angrier, but all about it. And so he ultimately decides to try to track down this guy. And so, he tries to do that. And what will happen when he actually finds this guy? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. All right, so let's discuss Redemption. So, what works with this one? Well, I gotta say, I don't get too much information when I press play with these movies. This one, though, after the first 5 minutes, I was like, wait, what is this one about? And I had to kind of look it up. And it is about, this guy getting revenge on this, predator, and really trying to, find this predator to get revenge. And that's mostly it. I would say with this one, there is quite a bit of interesting dialogue. He goes, to his mother to discuss their relationship. He goes to, the uncle to discuss their relationship. He discusses, what's the value of revenge and all of this different type of stuff. So there is certainly some good conversations in this one that do make it, interesting to follow along with. And beyond that, there is some good shooting in this one too. Like there's this restaurant shot where he's kind of like stalking this guy, and it's interesting how it's kind of laid out, and they were kind of back to back and stuff like that. And then there's also this one where there's actually this like stalking scene, and it's really well filmed. It's all like this one long shot, and it's always moving with the characters and stuff like that. And yeah, so certainly some of the shooting in this one is, good enough to actually be noticed. Like there's certainly this like a directorial flair behind the camera, which is certainly going to be good to see. And I think that would kind of move me into the problematic things with this one, or at least, problematic for me. With this one, it is very slow paced, I found. Had, like I said, great kind of conversations, but they're just like really long and, in one just scene, and it's just flipping back from their face to their face to the other person's face. And so they'll have like, 15-minute conversations with, someone at the bar, so with the mother at the house, with, whoever it might be. And so I found myself kind of, reaching for my phone after, 5 minutes of just looking at these people's faces, having a conversation. And it probably, makes for a better experience if you're willing to, have your phone out and certainly play with it. With this one, it's also like a religious film as well. So there's kind of this religious undertone that comes up here or there. And it certainly is more of a light-handed kind of tone to it. But there's still, certainly in the end, it becomes, overly heavy-handed. And so that I think also goes into it. Like I think if you're into religious movies, this is probably one. It's just that it also has like a very kind of extreme subject matter, tracking down this predator. But it's just one of those things that I don't understand what audience it's particularly going for. I guess there's this audience out there that has like a revenge fantasy going on in their minds. Like they would love to be, victimized so they could get revenge. And this one, probably fulfills that for those people. It's just the, extreme case of it. Like I've seen other ones and it's always like, oh, like, you killed my father, you killed my daughter, or whatever it is. But this one having like, a sex crime involved is certainly a different, I would say, tone to it all as well. And it doesn't quite kind of mesh with the religious undertone as well. And even when they do have kind of that religious stuff in this one, just like not sure how well it's portrayed as well. Like I'm not a particularly religious person, and so seeing this stuff, I'm like, that's not how it could go down. Surely, like that's not what would work. But yeah, so it's just kind of like an odd, slow, seriously slow and serious topic, type of movie that does, I would say, take away from it because it's so slow. And I understand it's a low budget movie, like that's what you got to do to fill up some time. But I would have made like a lot of these scenes a little bit more snappier. It is kind of a longer movie as well, at like an hour and 40 minutes, and so it does, it kind of extend those ones. If they could cut it down, I would probably appreciate that a little bit more. Also with this one, there's this moment like right at the beginning where the sound cuts out, and like I don't know if that's because I'm watching a screener, but they're having a really cool conversation, and this is like in the beginning, like I said, and so I'm like building interest in it, and then the sound just cuts out, and it's just not like a good feeling at that time. Like, why would that happen? Like, I was really into that conversation, but then you can see like the guy actually talking as well, like the person who's you're supposed to be using their perspective from, because sometimes you just tune out the world, but then he's also talking, and so it's like clearly he's not tuning out the world because he's responding, and that was just like kind of disappointing. Like I didn't enjoy that part. I kind of felt it kind of undercut the audience itself. So would I recommend this one? Well, certainly if you're into kind of religious message movies, this is one for you to watch. It's not, my cup of tea, but maybe it's your cup of tea. So that is certainly someone who could watch this one with its extreme subject matter. I would say, it's something to think about, certainly. If you are religious, you have a certain religiosity to yourself and what you would do as well. It is interesting to see his kind of spiral into decay, but it's just that spiral is quite slow. So yeah, it's really up to you. As for a rating, well, I gotta give it the 3.4 because ultimately I came out of it and said, nah. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.